everyone. It is Friday, October 18th, and as promised, I am here with the cedar chest, and I have my co-host Darcy with me tonight, and we're going to talk about some hand knits. I hope you'll bear with me. It has been a long week, so who knows what's about to come out of my mouth. A little bit about the chest. It's been around as long as I can remember, so I'm guessing that my parents got it about the time that they were married. There is a label on the inside that says Acme Manufacturing Company in South Bend, Indiana. Once upon a time I did do some Googling, and I think it's about 100 years old. So it's got a really nice patina. It's got some dings and some low on it, but there is one little foot that needs to be replaced. So yeah, I do love antiques and old things, but this is not an antiques podcast. This is a knitting podcast. Well, since somebody won't let me open it right now, you might remember this sweater from one of my podcasts where I talked about the sizing issue that I had with my stalactite sweater. So this is the basic raglan pullover by Hohe Locatelli. I knit it in Woolen Boon DK. It's a DK weight pattern. I can't remember the name of the colorway right off the top of my head. Normally I'm not huge on these like forest greens, hunter green type colors. Within the last year, I've really been gravitating towards it. I knit this around January of this year. Black Mountain Yarn Shop was doing a like quick fire sale. If you bought all the yarn in stock in a particular colorway of certain brands that they had on sale, it was all 50% off. So I got a sweater's quantity for 50% off, which was a great deal. And I think I had just bought boots for our trip, kind of in this color also. Did he? So it just seemed to go like it was meant to be. I actually, when we were at the festival at EYF, I did wind up buying a fade that fades into kind of this like hunter green color. So I don't know, it's weird how you're just drawn to certain color palettes. Like it's definitely like a winter palette to me. It's not something that I would go to in the summertime necessarily. So yeah, so I like this one. The only other fun story I have about it is I wore it on the plane over to the UK for our trip, and all of our travel time combined was probably about 48 hours. So I had this sweater on for 48 hours, and not only was I like about to die like sweating in it, it just got bigger and bigger and bigger the more that I wore it. I had blocked it right before the trip, and it just kept growing. So the flat that we stayed in had a washing machine, so I washed it, and I was just gonna lay it out to dry, but it got even bigger. So I wound up putting it in the dryer and just checked on it every 15 minutes or so, and it did wind up shrinking back to, like, this was the size pre-blocking. So yeah, it's really comfy. It's finally chilly enough here that I was able to wear it out to dinner tonight. Yeah, so let me open this up and we'll pick out another sweater to talk about. So I have so much in here that I think I'm gonna break it up into sweaters tonight, and then I'll do like shawls and hats tomorrow. Hats, there's not a whole lot to talk about. There's only a couple that I'm really like, they're a pattern and not just a vanilla hat. Is that a thing? All right, so let's see. The first thing I have here is my Penguino. I started this a little over a year ago, probably about February, not of last year, so February 2018, and I just finished it this summer. Not because of anything with the pattern, just because of the nature of how it's not even the construction. So maybe I shouldn't have had wine. So I decided to go with like a scrappy version, which I don't see how you don't with this. And I wanted all kind of like these light colors and pastels with pops of neon, because that's what I tend to gravitate towards. So yeah, this is all just leftovers. I did buy one or two skeins intentionally to use in here. Like there's some Noro in here that was kind of silvery with pastels. And Noro isn't something that I would normally go for, but that particular colorway was very subtle. And I felt like it went with the overall feel of this garment. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. It does include some hand spun from Naomi, like these white welts, and there's some alpaca down here. I'm pretty sure this is the same alpaca that I've been spinning. So yeah. And eventually I got to the point where all I had left was the shawl collar part. It's pink. And I had gone through so much stash that nothing was like right for it. So I just broke down and decided to use some hand spun from Naomi held with the mohair. And I am using both of these also in the jigsaw puzzle. So that's my penguino. And again, while I have no problem wearing like neons out in public, Jason calls this my bag lady coat. I really don't see myself ever wearing that out in public if I don't have to. It makes a really great house coat though. So there is that. Pause. So, shawl. These don't really fit any category, so I'll go ahead and talk about these as well. I don't remember the name of the pattern, but I knit leggings. Yes, I did. So these are a Westmit's pattern as well. You'll notice a theme here. The alpaca makes my nose itch. Not this past January, but the January before. So again, 2018 was when Stephen West came to Black Mountain Yarn Shop. He had just released this pattern a few weeks before that, and I knew I wanted to make them, and then I found out he was coming, and it was like right around my birthday, so I like power knit for a week to get these done in time to show it off to him, and that was really fun. He was really sweet and very complimentary. So again, I love these. They're really warm and they're really comfy, but I don't think I will ever wear these out in public again. I would make a pair in darker yarn and wear them out. And so they're written to be on the like reverse stockinette side, so like the garter side. I think I would, if I make like a dark pair, I would wear them on the like stockinette side out. And this is a variety of yarn. I have some leftovers. I know there's some Koigo in here that Naomi gave me, some Woolen Boon, some Madeline Tosh, some Hedgehog. Everything that I talk about, I'm just going to link to my projects page, like with all of my projects in the description box in case you want to go look at anything. Because again, I'm usually pretty good about leaving like yarn details and stuff up there. So those are my leggings, my fancy pants. Like I said, I don't remember the name of the pattern. They're not that hard to find. Okay, well, continuing the West Knits theme here. I have talked about this one on my podcast. This is my parachutey. I knit this in Primrose and the Adelaide base. The colorway is Neon Vacation, and again, I use the same color throughout the whole thing instead of like striping or blocking it. And then the purple is Koigu for the I-cord bind-offs around all the edges. I don't know the color because it's a number and there's no way that would stick in my brain. So yeah, I really enjoyed knitting this. I'm trying to get more use out of this one as well. You back? Oh, I blocked you, didn't I? What should we talk about next? Okay, garments. So then this one has also been on the podcast, my Soldotna. This is knit in some of my own hand-dyed yarn. Oh, really? Yes, so this is the Summer Sunset colorway kit. My thoughts about Soldotna that I don't think I really went into on the podcast. When I put this on and I like gather all the extra ease in the back and it's more like fitted, I don't mind the cropped silhouette as much. I think my problem with the cropped and with like 10 inches of positive ease is I lose my waistline and then I just look like I'm wearing a sack. Especially when I wear it over the dress, which I really feel like I can only wear it over the dress. Okay, let me rephrase that. I do like it over the dress. And I don't feel like I need the waistline as much, but I still look like I'm wearing a sack. When it's just over jeans, I feel like it's just making me look big. There's no definition in my silhouette, if that makes any sense at all. Wine might have been a bad idea. So my thoughts have been, I do have a little bit of the taupe left over from the ribbing down here. And I did already knit about twice as much ribbing as what's recommended, but I'm not sure if it's worth it to really pick up and then knit what's left of the yarn to try to add a little bit of length. I'm definitely not like ripping back any on it. If I did anything, I would just pick up and knit some more ribbing. But that means that, or I would have to get a wild hair up my ass to really do that. Probably not gonna happen, but probably just knit a second Soldotna at some point. And another familiar face will be my dark water sweater, my second place sweater. So again, this is knit out of some of my own hand-dyed yarn. You'll have seen it a couple times on the podcast. When I tried it on the other day when I got it back home, my sleeves seemed a little bit short. I knit them to what the pattern suggested and what I normally like, but I don't know. It feels like the yoke gets pulled down too far if I try to pull my sleeves down as far as I want them. So I will probably pick up and knit like 2 more inches of ribbing on the cuffs. That doesn't seem as daunting as trying to do the whole bottom of the sweater for some reason. But yeah, other than that, I'm really happy with this, and I might have to wear this one out sometime this weekend. All right, next we have my Sunset Highway. And if you haven't seen this pattern before, you've probably been living under a rock. This is by Caitlin Hunter, of course. I knit this almost 2 years ago, around my birthday in January, about the same time as this and the leggings. So this was all birthday yarn that I picked out from Charlotte Yarns. Charlotte Yarns in Charlotte. Go figure. Let's see, the top color, well, everything except for the coral. I'll get to that. The top color, the cream with speckles, is from Junk Yarn in the colorway Rey. I think it's for Rey, the new Star Wars character that had all just been out for a year or two, I believe. Yeah, I think that's right. Then the tan color is Hedgehog Fibers in Artifact. I really like that, the way that it's speckled. The coral color is from Kindred Red, and I managed to buy this right before she took a break from dyeing yarn for a year or so. I believe that colorway is called Endless Summer. And lastly, the main body color is Junk Yarn, also in the Beatrix colorway. And it's got really pretty burgundy red speckles on the seafoam green. Yeah, so fun fact, I was not really planning on knitting this sweater. It didn't really do it for me. Naomi convinced me to knit one. She kept sending me pictures. And I wasn't gonna do the little elbow patch sections on the arms, but then when I started knitting it, I was like, well, I might as well. And now I love it. It's one of my favorite finished objects. I've actually had someone stop me in the store and be like, that's that pattern. I know that one. That does not happen often. So I'm really happy with this one. And so my mom, Naomi knit one for my mom, and Aunt Mary knit one also. So we got a really nice picture when we were on top of Calton Hill in Scotland at sunset, in our Sunset Highways. So that was special. Let's see. Next, I have my Haley sweater. This is a pattern from Knit Picks. I'm gonna diverge a little bit here. I don't own, or I don't have the very first sweater that I ever knit anymore. And that was an owl sweater by Kate Davies. I did knit it in 100% non-superwash wool and accidentally felted it a little bit, so it shrunk up and it was too small for me, but I did give it to Naomi, who used it out in Colorado for a while, and when she moved to Florida, she just gave it to Goodwill, which that's cool. As long as it's out there in the world getting worn, that's all right with me. I do feel like I want to make another one someday in tribute to my original first sweater, because I did a lot of modifications and just making it fit my body, and I think I used worsted and it called for bulky weight, so I tend to do that. You might notice that coming up here soon. So anyway, this is the second sweater that I knit. So go big or go home, because this is cables in black yarn. There's cables on the raglan, which is a really nice detail. There are cables that go down the entire sleeve. And there's even cable detailing on the inside of the this part of the sweater. Now, I actually enjoy knitting cables. I hate lace though. Naomi loves lace and hates cables. Go figure. The only problem is I knit cables in black. So sitting here in front of me, I can see them perfectly fine, but I bet y'all can hardly even tell there's cables on this sweater. Oh, it's even in the like cables and the ribbing down here. And this was a DK weight sweater pattern, and I knit it in Madeline Tosh Light, which I believe is their single ply fingering weight base. I got pretty close to gauge, close enough that I just went on ahead and knit it to pattern for the most part. So that wasn't really a problem. The problem is when I knit this like 4 years ago, I was 2 sizes smaller. So unfortunately this one doesn't quite fit me right now. I haven't blocked it recently, so I do think I'm gonna try washing it and blocking it, or just soaking it and blocking it to see if I can get it to grow back out a little bit. I'm not entirely sure that it will work out, but might as well try because I've been thinking about this sweater a lot lately. If it doesn't fit me, I should lose the weight, if we're being real here. But I wouldn't mind knitting this pattern over again. I'm not normally a pattern repeater, but I did actually really enjoy this one once I got the hang of it, got the cables memorized. That pattern did have a few quirks, and I did make some notes of it on my Ravelry page. So yeah, another Haley sweater might be in my future, but definitely in DK weight. So next up, that leaves my Radiate, which is a pattern by Joji Locatelli. I fell in love with this pattern as soon as I saw it, and it's a DK weight sweater as well. I had worsted weight yarn though. The yellow is Malabrigo in, I believe, the Pollen colorway, and the gray is some Patton's Classic Wool, so it's non-superwash wool. And since I was going to be knitting in a different weight, I used what's called the fudge factor. So how that works is you knit a swatch, you get your gauge from your swatch, and then you compare that to the gauge of the pattern, and there's a little bit of math involved, and you come up with a percentage basically that you need to increase or decrease the pattern numbers by to make it work for your size with the yarn that you're using. So for me, the fudge factor was 0.85. So basically I had to adjust everything by 15%. So anytime there was a number in the pattern, whether it was do this for X amount of rows, stitches, stitch count, I multiplied it by 0.85 to get the number of stitches that I needed to do. So I just needed to decrease those stitch counts by 15%, if that makes sense. And it actually worked out really well. This fits me really well. This is sort of what I am thinking that my stalactites is gonna be similar to when I finish it. This is like a really great one for like in wintertime. I can just put on a long sleeve t-shirt with this sweater and not need a coat during the daytime. I would actually knit this one again as well. I really love this sweater. And I again got the gray wool at a really good price. Where we lived, back east, there was a town about 20 minutes from where we live that has a like a commercial yarn mill. So they make stuff for the craft stores, and they did the Patton's wool, and I don't remember I think they do some of the Bernat and Karen, stuff for like Michaels and AC Moore. So anyway, they do like a mill end sale twice a year where you come down and you just buy giant bags of yarn for decent price, better than retail, at least if you're buying in a large enough quantity. So that is that. I don't want y'all to think that I'm always buying like expensive yarn. The Madeline Tosh, the Haley sweater that I got off of Wool Watcher on Jibby Beans Wool. So that's another great little way to be cost effective. Let's see, this one too. I think this is my last one. I don't have my Cipla up here. What are you doing? Don't. Oh. You silly. Oh man. That just threw him for a loop, I'm sure. You gonna sleep on a sweater? Oh, cat. I love you. So, my Cipla that I had on the other night. Oh no, I talked about it on a podcast, so I'm not worried about it. I did wear it out the other night, but I think that was the same day. Anyway, this is my Nanilchik Swancho, another Caitlin Hunter pattern. Don't drink the wine. This is knit in EchoView Fiber Mill yarn that I got at their mill end sale last year, which again I kind of talked about when I talked about their mill membership. I don't remember the name of this base, but it has the little silk noil nubs in there, and this yarn is ridiculously soft. I really love this thing. This is the one that I knit in a week before SAF last year. I still don't know how I did it, but I did. And in fact, I still haven't sewn any ends, which is why there's like this hole here. And yes, you can see all of my ends are still hanging out. I should probably do that. So I really like this thing. It's very comfortable for just like hanging out around the house and even going out in. But again, one thing I would like to tweak is, since the sleeves down here are so short, it's basically just a long cuff. I think I could do to knit like another couple inches on it, so that then I could kind of shove them back a little bit and have a little bit more range of movement. That's really my only knock on this pattern, which I know I'm not the first person to talk about. It would make a really great sweater too, like if you just, I don't know, it would involve some math to try to figure out where to like separate for sleeves on this. But I think the like diamonds, it gives me a Charlie Brown vibe, which I really like. So yeah, I do wear this out in the winter time. I wore this out last year a couple of times as well. It's so soft. I wish you guys could feel this. Yeah, I do have like basically 2 skeins left over of this main color, which I kind of have put aside for a hat, but I also kind of want to lengthen the sleeves on this a little bit. So that's that. That is all of my sweaters, I believe. If not, I will bring them out tomorrow when I show y'all my shawls and my hats. All right, guys, I think that is it. Thank you so much for stopping by to watch the video. I hope that you all have a wonderful weekend. Our day is probably going to be pretty boring around here. Just gonna be doing some housework, not any yard work because I think it's supposed to rain tomorrow. And I will pop back up here and show you all the rest of what is in the trunk. My shawls, my hats, maybe a pair of mitts or two, I'm not sure. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, let me know what was your favorite sweater that you saw. Should I fix my soldatna? Should I just knit another one? Let me know what y'all think. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.